The Organization for Security and Economic Cooperation in Europe they send out election observers, people to monitor the polls and follow the press debates and really kind of produce a full report at the end of an election cycle to let the world know whether, in the assessment of these professional monitors, elections were free and fair. So if you look at the reports from both the first round and the second round, they very clearly state that election day was more or less free. The buildup to the elections was unfair. And so there was a meaningful political choice on election day. People more or less were able to go to the polls and vote unencumbered, although there are some reported, irregularities and a couple of disturbing incidents, but nothing that either these international observers or the opposition parties have really aggressively contested. So in that sense, electoral democracy is really deeply rooted in Turkey's political culture. The Turks have been going to the polls since the 1950s. It's really levels of participation that are very enviable from a United States perspective, where we have such a hard time getting people out to vote. So in that sense, it's a really meaningful institution, a really meaningful part of the culture. And I do believe that Erdogan sincerely believes in the majoritarian electoral mandate that he gets. When he secures election, I don't think it's superficial, but as you say, as the political system evolves from being, first we were talking illiberal democracy, and then the buzzword was competitive authoritarianism. I was writing an op-ed about this stuff yesterday, and I was playing with the idea of semi-competitive authoritarianism. And once you start going down that slippery slope, how much of this is just actually Potemkin democracy, like the Potemkin villages, where you kind of put on a big show, but it's really hollow behind. And I think that that's where a lot of the frustration and disappointment of the Turkish opposition electorate lies in the days after the first round, and especially after the second round. It just kind of wondering, does my vote, is my vote really just a rubber stamp for a Potemkin democracy that is manned by a dictator who's been around for 20 years and will probably be around for another 20. And so that question is, I think, very much kind of eating at the souls of a lot of folks on the ground in Turkey. But at the end of the day, a vote is better than not having a vote. So I've seen some commentators say, stop using elections to legitimize these authoritarian regimes. It's actually serving them. You're helping giving them a green light and legitimacy in the international space. But you can't take the vote away from a people when that's really the most important participatory mechanism that they have right now.